This episode is proudly sponsored by Podcorn. Tacos, as you may have noticed, we've gotten a few sponsors under our belts, and that's thanks to Podcorn. Podcorn is an amazing marketplace connecting podcasters to sponsorship opportunities, such as host-read ads, interview segments, topical discussions, and more. Not only am I able to pitch to potential sponsors, but Podcorn has connected us with opportunities as well. Better yet, there is no middleman. We collaborate directly with brands, and podcasters of all audience sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on the platform and set their own rates. Podcorn is here to support us at every step to ensure that we're protected and compensated for our work that we do for our brands. Podcorn is perfect for us because of the transparency, creative freedom, and full control of how and when we monetize. If you're also a podcaster, click the link in my show notes to sign up for Podcorn and start browsing sponsorship opportunities. Hey, John, can you please cover the Susan Powell disappearance and murder case for me? The Mormon mother of two has still never been found, and it's assumed that her husband murdered her and then took her and their two sons up somewhere and buried her. The husband said he took the kids camping, and when detectives questioned the children, one said, quote, "Mommy was in the trunk." This case is surely to make you lose faith in humanity. Also, I'm seriously addicted to this podcast. Love your number one Taco Supremo, Stacy. Welcome back to another episode of Talk Murder to Me. It's a very big week here for Talk Murder to Me. It is Savannah's birthday today on our recording evening.
Happy birthday, Savannah.
Savannah is one of our top Taco Supremos, and she is also the host of the Missing podcast. And also, it's Jen's birthday this week. Both of you guys are celebrating your last year of your 20s. Welcome. It sucks.
Can't wait to celebrate by drinking.
Yeah. Speaking of drinks, John gave us a very last minute hint this evening, and luckily we actually had all the ingredients. So that rarely happens. So tonight we are drinking the dinosaur. Let's take an obligatory first sip here.
Ooh. You know, as someone who wanted to be a paleontologist growing up, I'm very excited about this drink.
You wanted to be Ross Geller?
No, I wanted to be a paleontologist. I know Ross Geller is...
But is that how you got it, subconsciously?
No, I was 7. And my parents took me to the...
Friends was out then.
Yeah, but I didn't understand it. I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was that young.
So it is vodka, gin, rum, melon liqueur, and sour mix, and a little bit of sparkling water because we did not have Sprite.
I like it.
I'm surprised that there's that much alcohol in here.
All right, guys. So we have 2 new Taco Supremos.
Whoa.
Maybe even 3. I think we have 3, but I can only see 2 in here. I'm pretty sure we have 3. So thank you so much for joining Nikki and Laura.
Hey,
Sweet.
guys.
Nikki says, "Hey, y'all, my name is Nikki, obviously, and I'm from Virginia. My friend Julie and I are always talking about the latest podcast finds, and I stumbled across you guys. You have become my go-to for all things murder and mayhem. Even my husband, Scott, enjoys your show, mainly because of the stupid shit John says."
Yes.
Fuck.
It's fun for everyone.
I'm surprised it doesn't say stupid shit that Jen says. Are you sure it's not a typo?
And I'm just reading that now, so I just saw that.
He's
And
like,
then
wait,
she
I'm
says-
insulted.
Then she says, "I say that with affection. P.S. John is my favorite." So thank you so much.
That's so sweet. I think the mail helps the dudes able to listen to you. I know we've got a lot of our Taco Supremos love your willingness to go gruesome, John. So thanks for that, for letting us lose our lunches.
And Laura says, "Okay, let me start by saying I already wrote a really informative intro and then ignored the fact that my phone was at 1%.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
And it died. Yeah.
The worst.
So I am Laura, and I have suddenly realized I have no life, and I'm having to pay people to talk to me.
Oh, no. Laura, we're best friends.
I'll talk to you for free, Laura.
Yeah.
So I am a single mom servant of a 9-year-old girl and 6-year-old boy. They keep me incredibly busy, but they are the coolest little people in the world.
Oh, that's sweet.
And she wrote a lot more stuff, too. So go to the forum if you're a Tacos Primo, and you can read what she has to say. Oh, one last thing. P.S. John is my favorite. Oh, well, there you go.
Wow.
That's 2 for me.
Did you just add that one in there?
So thank you, guys, both Nicole and Laura.
Can't wait to talk to you guys on the Facebook forum. Heyo, see you there.
We got a ton of new subscribers to the podcast and a couple new Taco Supremos, and we're really, really excited. So thank you guys so much. And the last bit of news, Nicole and I put together a serial killer quiz for you guys. We've had a lot of people take it so far, and
Pretty tough.
yeah,
not
it's
gonna
pretty
lie.
tough.
I got 100.
I would hope so, Jen.
So be sure to go to the Facebook page, or you can find that on the website. I'm putting a link for it there. And I got to say, a lot of people are taking it. I don't actually see the names or anything else, but I do see that people are taking it, and the average score is 5 out of 10.
Oof.
And
That is a tough quiz.
yeah, it's really tough. There's a couple 8s in there, and there's even a few 10s, but I'm pretty skeptical that they didn't look up the answers while they were taking it.
Or that
I'm
they're
just
not
saying.
from around this table.
Well, yeah. Because it is kind of a tough quiz. I mean, you really have to be up on your true crime game to take the quiz.
You would have had to listen to, I think, every one of our episodes in order to get 100 on that quiz.
Yeah. But a lot of people have been taking it, and
Mhm.
the results are coming in, and I'm telling you, they're not good. I mean, most of them are 5. A lot of them.
If this was a class, we would have to grade on a bell curve, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so like looking at right now, 5 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 2 out of 10. Come on, what the hell?
Noob.
Oh my God, dude.
Just kidding. We love you.
Yeah, I want someone to confess to that 2 out of 10 because that's pretty bad. Anyway,
Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
Cheers.
This is also green.
that tasted like one of those pops.
Was it a
Those
Midori
freeze
sour
pops.
shooter?
It was a Midori sour shooter.
I really love Midori sours because they kind of taste like Gatorade. if you do
yeah,
it right.
it did.
You should freeze those, and it'd be like one of those pops. You got to put them in one of those little
The tubes.
tubes. Yeah.
Apparently, you can make those tubes by like lighting a match, heating a blade, and then like kind of sealing. Like you would take a Ziploc bag, and you can make them by kind of sealing the strips.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight I'm doing a special request from one of our Taco Supremos and really good friend Stacy.
Hey,
Hey,
Stacy.
Stacy.
And I'm going to kind of read what she wrote on the case, and I want you guys to try to guess what case it is. Now, this is a pretty famous case. Very tragic.
And the hint is dinosaur.
Hey, John, you're my favorite.
Oh, she just went out and said it. She didn't even have to add it at the end with a PS.
And I would love to hear your take on this murder. Her body has still never been found. It's assumed that her husband murdered her and then took their 2 sons up somewhere and buried her. The 2 sons were very little at the time. The husband said that he took his kids camping in the winter, and when he came home, his wife was gone. The father-in-law also had some weird obsessions with her, too. Anything? No?
Meaning, do we know this story?
Yeah, do you know this story?
It sounds familiar, but I can't place it.
It's not the Vallow case, is it?
No, we're not doing the Vallow case. Her parents later had custody of the 2 boys, and the husband had supervised visits. And I'm not going to go any further because it's going to give away the story. The book we're reading from tonight is a book by Greg Olson. Now, every time I see Greg Olson, I'm like, oh, damn it. I mean, he's a great writer, but he's the type that will take a true crime story and make it 600 pages.
He's like the what's that author, the McCullough?
Oh yeah, David McCullough.
David McCullough, true crime. Truman.
Yeah, Truman.
It's like these guys. Like he wrote this. David McCullough wrote this Truman book. I think it's David McCullough.
Yes.
Anyway, that thing is over 1,000 pages for that one dude.
Yeah.
But whenever I see Greg Olson, I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be forever. And I was really happy to see that this book was only 390 pages.
That's still a big hunkin' book.
I know.
That's some serious duty right there.
I mean, like anything over like 10 pages is a lot for me. So.
Okay, so the story we are covering tonight is the Susan Powell case. You guys know that case?
The name sounds very familiar.
I think so, but I can't think of the details right this second.
It's a very tragic case. We are going to the LDS community, the Latter-day Saints.
Oh.
Hello.
Mormons, the Mormon community here. She is a Mormon, and her husband...
So we're going to Utah?
We are going to Utah, yeah, West Jordan. This husband and wife, they're not the traditional Mormons that are around the area.
Are they strict?
Well,
they're liberal.
They're strict, but as I was reading more about Mormonism, it's almost like Orthodox Jews.
Yeah.
You know, they dress a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Orthodox Mormons do the polygamy, and that's the biggest thing.
Oh, so are these polygamous?
No, these are not polygamous at all.
Well, you know what was... I think we've covered a Mormon case once before, if I recall. Can't remember which one. We've done so many.
You can think about this episode as an overview of the whole case. And I'm going to go a little bit into the relationship and stuff like that and just kind of give you a primer. If you really want to expand on this case, and any true crime addict would probably want to, there's a podcast out there which I didn't personally listen to at all. My research is coming from newspapers and the book that we're reading tonight. But there's a podcast called Cold. I don't know who produces it, but it's a huge true crime podcast, and it has got a lot of reviews. So I'm guessing it's really
good. Is that a
good.
single story podcast?
Yeah, it's
The Cold is just about Susan Powell.
This is just about Susan Powell.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And it's a huge podcast. I mean, and I was looking at the reviews. I haven't listened to it yet, but it seems like everyone likes it. So if this case really intrigues you, definitely go there to listen to it.
So there was this book that I read that was really interesting. I've definitely mentioned it before. It's called Educated.
Yep.
And I usually like fiction books, but this was a nonfiction book about, and it was like so crazy. It was about this girl's experience. Her family was Mormon, but they were like crazy. So anytime I hear a case about Mormons, I'm always curious on the spectrum of, strictness.
What do you mean crazy?
Well, she had grown up. She was like in the mountains, and her family was at 100% abusive. But they didn't allow them to drink Coke. They were very, 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 very sheltered. I don't think they were allowed to go to school.
There were 2 Mormons in my army unit, and they were like that too. They couldn't drink Coke.
Really? Whenever I hear Mormon, I always think of...
They're the nicest people ever, though.
The Book of Mormon.
Yeah, I've heard they're...
Yeah, they were like the nicest freaking people ever.
Mitt Romney is a Mormon.
So is Danny Ainge.
Okay, so throughout this story, Nicole's going to be reading quotes from Susan Powell, and these quotes don't come from her mouth exactly, but they come from emails, they come from diary entries. She goes missing under very ridiculous circumstances. Mm-hmm. And her journal is actually found in her desk at work. It's in a locked desk. She keeps her journal in there.
Okay.
So her husband, Josh,
doesn't see it. Ooh. That in itself is suspicious.
Yeah, exactly. So they retrieve the journal, and a lot of these quotes which we're going to be using to build up the character in the story tonight, come from that.
Okay.
Okay, so you can really see what's going on in this house with these quotes from this diary.
Okay, can I lead off with a question here?
Yeah,
How
go
did Susan and her husband meet? Because aren't they like kind of borderline-ish arranged marriages in Mormonism?
That is the Orthodox Mormonism.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure that's true, so don't quote me on that.
Or it's like, mom and dad are going to set you up with a nice young man.
They actually met at an LDS event, a singles event, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. I'll get into their relationship here in a minute.
Okay. Every moment I step back and take stock of what I'm dealing with. It feels like a never-ending cycle, but I'm too afraid of the consequences. Losing my kids, him kidnapping them, divorce, or actions worse on his part.
Ooh, that's from her diary?
Yeah, that's from that. Well, no, that's not from her diary. That's from an email that she sent to a friend on July 5th, 2008. So if this is the first episode you're listening to, I put all my supporting documents and all my references and everything else on talkmurder.com. So go there, talkmurder.com, and click the image with Susan Powell on there, and you can see all the images that I'm showing the girls tonight so you can follow along with the story. But this right here is her journal. And there were hundreds of pages of journals.
You know what's really weird?
What?
Her handwriting looks just like my handwriting. Like a lot like my handwriting.
This is probably a premonition of things to come in our marriage.
I mean, it's like creepy. If you were to show this in front of me, I would think that that's me.
Whoa.
Yeah, it looks like mine too.
You mean all the thank you notes that I signed from you?
That bottom section, dated June 28, 2008, as you see right there, goes like this. Quote, I bike to work daily and have been having extreme marital stress for about 3 or 4 years now.
Whoa.
For mine and my children's safety, I feel the need to have a paper trail at work which would not be accessible to my husband.
Wow.
Wow.
She writes about the $1 million life insurance policy that
he has on her?
That he just took out on her.
Oh, my God.
And she says, quote, this is from the journal, quote, if I die, it may not be an accident, even if it looks like one. Take care of my boys.
Wow.
That was dated June 28, 2008.
Holy titties. That is quite the premonition there, girl.
So let's get started a little bit with a timeline of this story. Sunday, December 6, 2009 is where we're going. West Jordan, Utah, with the Mormons and everything else. She takes her 2 sons. It's a Sunday, so they're going to church, obviously. She's very Mormon, but not like polygamous, but very strict.
Okay. Like that she doesn't drink soda. She wears long dresses.
Okay, I shouldn't say, because she does wear makeup and stuff like that, and she probably drinks soda. I'm not sure about that. But as far as the faith, believing that there's an afterlife and stuff like that, she wants to bring that in the household. She even buys into the, women should be the housekeepers and men should be the breadwinners.
But she does have a job. What does she do for work?
She does have a job. In fact, she is the breadwinner. Susan, as I'm going to get to here shortly, is extremely intelligent. She works at Wells Fargo Investments for the, doing big investments, like a stockbroker. She's actually in the process of getting her Series 7, which, if you guys watch Wolf of Wall Street, remember Leonardo DiCaprio got his Series 7? Series 7? Got his Series
Such a great
7.
movie.
Series 7 exam. That qualification helps you make these investments and all portfolio stuff. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I mean,
so she's doing pretty well for herself.
Exactly. So this is Sunday, December 6, 2009. She takes her 2 sons, Charlie, 4 years old, Braden, 2 years old. They go to the local church ward.
So does her husband work at all, or does she just make the majority of the money?
The husband is a piece of shit.
I'm starting to get that sense without much context
He is
from
the biggest
him.
piece of shit in the world. He does have a job, but his jobs come and go because he went to college, didn't complete his degree, racked up a huge amount of debt, and he would bounce from job to job saying he's qualified. Like the job he's working at now when his wife goes missing, he's a computer programmer for a trucking company, even though he doesn't have a degree or anything. You see what I'm saying? He's just kind of lying his way into these jobs, and then they find out that, hey, you don't even have a degree and you suck at this. Then he goes, which you probably see this too, the HR route was like, oh, you're firing me for no reason, kind of stuff, you know?
Oh, yes.
That's him. We're going to get into him in a second, though. So, December 6, 2009, she takes her two sons, Charlie, 4 years old, Braden, 2 years old, to her local church. She is a member of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. A neighbor and one of her best friends visits her at 5 p.m., and her name is Giovanna Owings, and she provides a lot of the commentary for this case. Okay, they're really good friends.
One more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I shouldn't say one more. Did the husband not attend church with her and her kids?
Yes, at first.
But he prefers to stay at home, or he's quote unquote working.
That was a great question, and I'm gonna get into this later. But you really have to understand the husband's father, because the husband's father, Steve, which we're going to talk about a lot, you know, which is crazy. Why would you talk about the stepdad?
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, so he was Mormon, marries a Mormon, and then whatever happened, he fractured away, and he is, the book says, vehemently anti-Mormon.
Interesting.
The husband's dad. So Josh Powell, the husband, grew up in that environment
Of anti-Mormon.
But the mother was Mormon. They split up.
Okay.
So Josh is Mormon. He met Susan at a LDS singles event.
Mm-hmm.
He is Mormon, but just like his father, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, he starts fracturing exactly the same. And he gets into this, Mormons is bull crap, all this stuff. And which is bad because he's telling the kids, his kids eventually, which we're going to see, that, you know, God is evil, Mormons are the devil, all this stuff. And he's living with Susan, which is die-hard Mormon. Again, we're at December 6, 2009. They just come home from church. Susan, her friend Giovanna Owings, they actually sing in the choir. I'll get to it in a second, but Susan is a soprano, and she has a lovely voice from what everyone says. Anyway, her friend Giovanna visits her because Giovanna was knitting, you know, like thread and needle. Mm-hmm. And she got the yarn, I guess it was like crochet or something. The yarn was all tangled up. So she comes over, and this is like 3 o'clock p.m., and she stays till about 5:30, and they sit on this love seat this new love seat that Susan just got, and they for 2 hours are trying to like untangle this knot of this yarn, right? That's, you know, whatever. So anyway, the husband then takes the two boys sledding because it's, you know, snowing outside. This is December 6th. It's right before Christmas. At 8:30 p.m., a neighbor of Susan and Josh sees Josh coming home with the kids in the sled. Okay, good. Everything's good. At 11:45 is when it really starts. That is when a neighbor hears a car alarm go off. Now, he doesn't actually get up and see what's going on, but he does hear it.
Okay. And it's coming from the Powells.
Yes.
Okay.
Around 8:30 p.m., a neighbor saw Josh return home and pull into the garage. 3 hours later, Marco Bastidas, who lived one house away from Josh and Susan's, was locking up his car when he heard an alarm sounding inside the closed garage at the Powell home. He couldn't see any lights on in the house.
Another neighbor tells police that he hears a couple fighting, and it's most likely Susan and Josh. But he doesn't actually go to the window, and since this happened, he regrets that. You could tell. He's like, damn it, I wish I would have seen to be sure that that was Susan and Josh fighting. Monday, December 7th, 2009. So we were just at Sunday, December 6th. Now we're going to December 7th, but we're not going in the day. We're going to midnight, Sunday midnight. Now we're in Monday, 12:30 a.m.
Okay.
Completely night. This is after the car alarm goes off.
The same night?
Same night, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the same night the car alarm goes off. Now we're at 12 a.m. to 12:30 in the morning. The husband, Josh Powell, decides he wants to take the two boys, Charlie, 4 years old, and Braden, 2 years old, camping. It is 12:30 at night.
In December?
And it is yeah, exactly. That was a good point. And not only is in December, but it is below freezing and one of the worst freezing temperatures on record. And they want to go camping at this place called Simpson Springs, where they could literally freeze to death. And not to mention it's 12:30 at night.
I wonder if that was his intent.
What do you mean?
To kill his kids.
So, according to Josh, the husband, his wife stays home. All right. Now keep in mind, he's going camping at freaking midnight.
Now, does anyone
on a Monday?
Is there anyone in the neighborhood who heard the car leave at that point in time?
Yeah, they heard the car leave.
Okay.
And they saw him leave and stuff like that.
With the kids. Okay.
But here's the thing. The kids have school in the morning.
True.
Josh has work in the morning. The next day, obviously, Susan's not at work. And the first one to notice something's wrong is the daycare, because they expect the two kids to be there.
And they didn't call in advance,
they didn't call.
apparently.
They weren't even there. So that's what got the ball rolling. Is like, where is Josh? Where are the kids? Like, what's going on? Okay. Now, Josh, he comes home and his wife is gone. This is what he says.
The next morning.
Yeah. So he goes camping for some reason.
But
and
they
then
come
he
back the same day.
He comes back the same day, and now the wife is gone.
Interesting. So who went to the house during the day?
How many bags did they pack when they went camping?
What? Who went in the house?
Well, unless he brought the body with him.
Right, like how many bags did he bring? Did anyone see that?
This case is going to really piss you off. Let's just say that.
Lots of unanswered questions.
I'm going to say right now.
So Jen was thinking he took the body with him to get to camping, quote unquote camping, to get rid of the body. I'm thinking, did the husband's dad come to the house to dispose of the body while they're gone?
That's a good question, because the dad lives 8 hours away in Washington. And if you have listened to another one of our episodes, the Misty Copsey episode, I believe.
Yep.
He lives in Puyallup. Remember the pull-up police?
Yeah.
Puyallup.
Puyallup. That's where he lives. The dad lives in Puyallup.
I wonder if they know each other.
Puyallup. Puyallup. I'm going to get into Josh's dad, Steve, here in a little bit. But let's continue talking about Susan. Then we'll talk about Josh, the relationship. Then I'll get to their dad. Obviously, everyone at this point knows that Josh did something. Okay. But continuing with Susan, she's 28 years old. Josh is 33. They have two sons, Charlie, which is 4, and Braden, 2 years old. She was working at Wells Fargo Investments when she, quote, left, right? She was number 3 of 4 girls growing up. She was the wild one, if you will, and as you see her, she's extremely beautiful, and her dream in life was to open her own beauty salon. I know they wanted to use the basement of their house once they got the money to open up like a beauty salon, that she can do that. Yeah, so, which I don't really think Mormons do a lot of the makeup and, cause
that's an interesting
but she didn't overdo it. She just did it enough.
It's not like she was a Kardashian or a Jenner or whatever.
Yeah. So her dream was to make people look more beautiful. That was her dream.
That's nice. It's a nice way of putting it.
She was born October 16th, 1981 to Chuck and Judy Cox. A little bit about Chuck. He was a staff sergeant working at Holloman Air Force Base. He was an air traffic controller, and he worked on the disaster reports when a plane crashes.
Like so the black box stuff?
Yeah, so he's very keen on not people lying, but the little details, if you will, about the semantics of stuff. She's a devoted Mormon. She belonged to the Hunter 36th Ward. I guess they have little wards in their religion. She sang in the choir as a soprano, and this is a quote from Giovanna Owings, her friend that came over to do that yarn stuff.
I wonder if that's kind of like a parish, like the wards.
Yeah, that's probably a good analogy for it. She had a wonderful voice, really angelic, just beautiful, Giovanna said later. So we were starting to find a lot of things we had in common, and I thought, this is really cool. I've got a friend, and she is right around the block for me. This is going to be so neat. I was looking forward to the future and doing stuff together.
That's nice.
Everyone loved Susan
Oh.
so much. She was outgoing. She was nice. She was sweet. And if you look at her parents, Chuck and Judy, they are an amazing family. And then you take the Powells, and it's literally like
night and day.
Yeah, it's literally like heaven from the Coxes, Susan Cox growing up, heaven, and then hell for the Powells. Like they grow up in hell with demons. I mean, it's completely separate. You know what I'm saying? Like the good people are the Coxes. The bad people are the Powells. And you're going to see why I'm saying that. I'm not just saying that to say it. Like, these guys
I was going to say, wow, that's pretty
this
intense
family,
to say that about the Powells, that they're hell.
Like kind of like fire and brimstone more so, you mean? Or?
No, like if I ever meet a Powell on the street, I'll be like, I can't even talk to you.
Wow, that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there was ever a family that you wish you could just wish off of the earth.
Wow.
And I'm talking about the whole freaking family, minus the wife.
We've covered a lot of really shitty families, though.
Minus Josh's mom, the wife that divorces the crackpot dad. Anyway, we're going to get to that in a minute. But Susan actually earns a scholarship to Jean Juarez Academy. It's a huge cosmetology school. It's like one of the big ones. Now, as you're going to read some of the quotes from Susan in her diary, she's trying to get away from this guy. But in reality, she wanted things to work because Mormons, you don't separate if you're a Mormon. A little bit about the Mormon marriages. You marry not just for this life, but for the next life. Which, when I saw that, I was like, shit, I got to put up with Nicole in the next life, too? What the hell? I thought it was just another 60 years here. I can manage that. But now I got to see you up in hell.
Oh, you can manage it for the next 60 years.
But anyway, she was in it to win it, even though it came to the time where she wanted a divorce. But that was for her own sake. And the Mormon church actually blessed a divorce for her, and that's like no one does. They never do.
It must have been really bad.
Yeah, it must have been really bad.
Like the Catholic version of an annulment.
Yeah,
like, it's not very common.
Yeah,
exactly. But
especially if they've been married for a while and they have 2 kids.
Exactly. But this is how much Judy loved her husband. She wrote this on Valentine's Day. It's called "The Reasons I Love You." This is when they met. She actually lists 132 reasons why she loves Josh Powell, and I just put a little bit of them here if you want to read these.
You want to talk about irrelevant topics until you've resolved the issues of the world. You'll drive aimlessly. You want children. You pray for people. You show affection in public. You don't care what others think. You love my family get-together occasions. You watch Friends with me for hours. You can be patient. You let me wax you. You hold me. I know. At first, I questioned that too, and then I realized that she was a cosmetologist or whatever. So she's probably testing,
on
stuff.
The butthole.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Had we not had that previous context, that's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
You hold me in the middle of the night. You calculate everything, which I will also say that at first glance, I thought that said you ejaculate everything.
What the fuck?
Whoa. Get your mind out of the gutter.
I just saw the you late, and then it was around the wax. Anyway, you went to church when you didn't feel like it was worth it. You pay tithing without question.
This is from the book right here. This is a little bit about how Susan's parents absolutely abhorred Josh Powell.
Susan's parents were worried about Josh's sometimes odd behavior. Occasionally, he seemed to not all be there. At other times, he'd be oddly evasive. He made a habit of arriving hours late to family functions, with no awareness that others were waiting for him. It appeared as if Josh either didn't care about others or was unable to empathize with anyone else's problems. They didn't give voice to their greatest concern because to do so would have been almost too scary to say out loud. Chuck and Judy began to wonder if Josh's aberrant behavior was an indicator that he might have a mental illness.
A little bit about Josh Powell. He was born January 20th, 1976. He's one of 5 children. He's the second born to Steve and Terry Powell. He was born in Spokane, Washington. Remember, Steve lives in Puyallup. Oh, I said it right that time.
Good job.
I thought it was Puyallup.
Oh, maybe. The order was Jennifer was the oldest, followed by Josh, Johnny, Mike, and Alina.
I just had what is probably the most erotic experience I've had in my entire life. I just hate to say it. I mean, of course, because I haven't had that many experiences, but Susan has been feeling ill. She had a cold. And I offered to rub her feet, to rub her toes, to give her some
Oh, no.
stimulation.
Oh, no.
I probably rubbed her feet.
That's her stepdad.
Her toes, her beautiful feet. She has such pretty feet. Of course, everything about her is pretty, beautiful. And I know she felt it. I mean, she couldn't have missed it. She's not naive either, I know, from what I've read in her journals. That girl is not naive. When I started massaging her legs, I would have loved to go all the way up her legs, but I did do her calves.
Oh, no.
Because her feet were resting in my crotch, so I sort of rubbed her calves. She didn't seem to mind at all having me that close. I mean, I was
her husband's
close.
father.
I was touching
Yeah,
her
the
with
husband's
my
father.
crotch. Then I just started rubbing her back and her neck and her shoulders. I didn't want to push my luck. Josh was sitting across the room on the chair, and he wasn't always watching, so I sort of took liberties as he didn't watch. And I put my hands around to the front, and I did feel her breasts, at least
Side
to some
boob.
degree. I didn't put my hands, and I didn't cup my hands over them, but I felt the sides and a little bit on the underneath, and she had an underwire bra on.
What the fuck?
Wow. And
Then he creamed his pants.
It's hard to remember everything I did. I love that woman.
Oh,
She
he's
is
stripping now.
Beautiful. Can't even get enough of her. Can't get enough of looking at her. She's so pretty. And I held her arm and I held her hand. I cupped her hand in mine, her beautiful little hands. And I rubbed her forearm. And I massaged it all up and down. Massaged it for a long time. I went up
Oh, God.
Look at his bulge.
Ooh.
up her sleeve.
Like, is he filming this for his
She
own
didn't even-
purposes?
Right. She seemed to enjoy it. I
So,
mean,
like, he remembers it and
I
can get
slipped
off
my
to watching
hand
it?
up inside of her sleeve, and I had it over here, and I was massaging her shoulder blade, and I was right here, just above her breast.
Oh, my God.
I-
Oh, my God.
I wish there was, like, some way we
This
could
is-
get Susan's thoughts on
This
their
is,
relationship.
I know.
This is. I'll get your thoughts. In a
she
second.
wrote about
Oh yeah,
him.
she's been journaling since she was a teen. Why do you think she moved to Utah from Spokane, Washington?
Because she was creeped out by her father-in-law.
Because he kept making sexual advances at her, and she told her
Is he
husband,
still? Oh,
Josh.
is he with anyone? I know that the parents are divorced, but is he like single?
No, the mother divorces him,
Right.
or his wife divorces him.
Because of this or before? Before.
Not because of before.
Yeah.
Before, when Josh was still growing
So
up.
he is a bachelor eyeing at the wife of his son.
I wouldn't say bachelor. He is, when he was arrested,
A fucking
as we'll
creep.
get into later, he was arrested for child pornography and voyeurism.
Oh my gosh.
And this right here, this photo I put on talkmurder.com, this is all Susan's panties.
Oh, that's
He would-
nasty.
He had thousands and thousands of videos and photos
Of Susan?
of Susan. So, for instance, he would have a crack or a little hole in the bathroom wall, and he would have the camera positioned so he can watch her pee. There's videos of her inserting a tampon.
Oh my God.
Anything.
That's
Anything.
Like
They
taking
found
obsession to a next level. That's so creepy.
While he decried the media's prejudice against Josh on one page, he took the entirety of another page to chronicle what he called a jerk-off session to a photograph of Susan's beautiful face. He wrote how many seconds it had lasted and added an exclamation point to cap off the memory.
Ugh, I wonder how many seconds it was.
Ew.
I don't. Ugh. I don't know.
Oh no, we just started with this guy. What the fuck? I think I'm just gonna leave this.
Oh, keep going. I'm
No,
fascinated.
I don't know. I guess I don't know.
Well, he's a-
maybe I'm just more naive than anyone else on this planet.
He's
But
a-
just like the thought of like fantasizing about someone, especially your daughter-in-law, is just very, very creepy and gross to me.
Oh, it's definitely creepy and gross, and it should be creepy and gross to everyone. There's more. One time, Steve tried to kiss me. After that, I told Josh we had to move out,
No.
Kiersey said. If Susan had dropped a bomb, this next one was a cruise missile. Yes, one time after we moved here, Steve sent me a package, an envelope with what I thought were pictures of my favorite actor, Mel Gibson. You know what he did? Kiersey had no idea. How could she? She never heard of a father-in-law hitting on his son's wife. It was disgusting and vile. It was wrong in every way imaginable. Tucked into the photos were a bunch of other naked pictures, Susan said, pausing a moment for emphasis. They weren't of Mel Gibson.
This motherfucker sent his daughter-in-law dick pics
Oh
via
my
mail.
God. This is
Could
before
you
sexting was a thing.
Could you imagine if he accidentally addressed it to like the house next door or something like
Or
the
his-
wrong address? And,
Or the husband opens the
yeah,
mail.
like what the fuck, dude? Never send an unsolicited dick pic, especially via snail mail.
Yeah, that's awfully risky. That is, I mean, sending any nude photo is risky because that shit don't go away.
Even when you think it does, it doesn't. That's what
doesn't.
they made Snapchat for, and guess
that,
what?
That still don't work.
It doesn't.
I don't know how to explain what you're about to hear, so I'm just gonna go ahead and roll with it.
And I only feel love.
Oh God,
I may
Oh, no.
have seemed clumsy, I didn't move fast.
Make it stop,
A love that keeps
he reminds me of something.
Dracula. Literally count
It's
the
plain
count from Sesame Street.
to that all that you do
Oh my God, this is
has made me love you. I only feel love.
this is like a really bad version of Phantom of the Opera.
Feel love when
No, 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 no.
without you.
No.
I only feel
Oh my
What
God!
the fuck? He is like a. He is like
Holy
if
shit.
Andrew Lloyd Webber was on bath salts and like saying the Phantom of the Opera, but
His
like,
voice
his
is
own
very
version.
distinct. He sounds like another.
He had hundreds of songs dedicated to Susan. Here's one. Your sweet name was my lips again, was on my lips again. Words and music by Stephen Craig Powell.
I don't want to read it. It's gonna make me cringe.
Your sweet name was on my lips again. When I tried to kiss her as a friend, I would try, but it was just pretend. Your sweet name was on my lips again.
Wow, what a songwriter! Wow, you're so good. What did Steve do for a living? Was he a composer for a living? I hope not.
No.
He clearly wasn't a good one.
It's actually really ironic because the company he worked at, they made furniture for inmates. And he'll eventually be sitting on some of his own furniture.
No, that's funny.
All right.
Wow, they must have been really terrible. I wonder if part of his obsession has to do with wanting what he can't have, because that's maybe where the voyeurism comes.
No, this
in.
guy
You
is.
can want what you can't have and not have sexual fantasies about it.
This guy is really.
Well, that's what he gets off on.
Really bad. When they raided his home, they found not only Susan's diaries that he's stolen from her, but they recovered multiple laptops, computer towers, cameras, boxes of photographs, a book titled When Opposites Attract, and his own journals, 10 years worth of writings about his sexual obsession with Susan. They even found a porn cabinet. Now, this guy has porn all over the house.
Grief.
They found a Ziploc baggie of hair, women's hair.
Whoa.
Was it Susan's or just random women?
I don't know. I guess random women. Women's undergarments and hygiene products, photos of Susan, 15 desktop and laptop computers filled up with videotapes.
Holy shit. That's a lot.
Yeah. Like, talk about getting an external
15.
hard drive,
I mean,
dude.
I know that.
Videotapes of. There were videotapes of minors,
Oh, no.
6, 8 years old, in the neighborhoods.
no.
His neighbors too. They were and they weren't just like playing in the, playing with the ball or whatever. He gets the camera and he takes videos of these two minors using the bathroom.
Oh, God.
He has CDs, flash drives, video cassettes, digital video recorder, packets of photographs, CDs with encryption keys, multiple notebooks, hard drives, 3-ring binders, a box of journal, and photo albums. He's got it all. And when he was arrested, it was for numerous counts of child porn and voyeurism.
Well, I'm glad they put him away.
Yeah. His goal and his dream in life was to share Susan with his son.
Ew.
He wanted Susan to basically be the wife of both of them.
Oh, he
No.
wanted a sister-wife situation with his son.
That's so strange.
At the time, he was 53 and Susan was 21. Over the years, he wrote more than 2,330 pages in 17
Jesus.
notebooks about how he was crazy with desire for her and how falling in love with her was both his greatest problem and his greatest pleasure. It could sound romantic, except it wasn't. Not only was it unrequited, even Steve called his actions sociopathic. He chronicled what he admitted were his sick sexual urges about Susan, including secretly videotaping her and masturbating while he watched the tapes.
Well, at least he knew that it was not right.
According to his journals, he would masturbate every morning and every evening to pictures of Susan. It didn't take much to turn him on. He had taken hundreds of photos of Susan, many without her knowledge, partially dressed, putting on makeup, eating a bowl of cereal, inserting a tampon, shopping at Costco.
This is the West Valley police detective. Her name is Kim Watley. She's actually questioning the son, Charlie.
Okay, well, what did you do Sunday night? Before you went to bed?
Go camping.
You went camping? Tell me about camping.
Camping is where we have s'mores.
Who were you camping with?
My dad and my mom and my little brother.
So you went camping with your mom, your dad, your little brother, and you had s'mores?
Yeah.
Charlie, when you guys came home from camping, who came home with you?
My dad.
And?
And my mom stayed at Dinosaur National Park.
Your mom stayed there?
Yeah.
Do you know where at the park?
No, my mom stayed where the crystals are.
Where were you camping at?
I was camping at Dinosaur National Park.
Dinosaur Park?
No, Dinosaur National Park.
Dinosaur National Park. Who
He
were you
seems very
camping
sure
with?
that that's where he was.
My dad and my mom
Yeah,
and
because his dad coached him to sit up.
my little brother.
Dad, your mom, and your brother?
Yeah.
Did you sleep over there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Tell me what you did with your dad while you were camping. Anything fun?
Yeah. While I was camping, I saw some flowers that didn't look pretty.
You didn't?
Yeah.
You saw some flowers that didn't look pretty?
Yeah.
Oh.
There are no pretty flowers on Dinosaur National Park City.
Oh. So you went camping with your mom, your dad, your little brother, and you had s'mores?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Tell me about your picture, Braden, one woman said, gently prodding him.
That's us going camping.
He said, looking down at the drawing. Another woman touched an index finger to a crude stick figure seated in the car. Who's that? She asked.
That's Daddy.
He indicated the other figures in quick succession.
That's Charlie, and that's me.
But that wasn't everybody he'd drawn. There was another figure there, too. He pointed.
Mommy's in the trunk.
He said.
What? Wait, what?
Mommy's in the trunk.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
He didn't even bother Weekend at Bernieing it
No.
for the kids.
Dude, he took his dead wife and it's not even a trunk. They had an Astro minivan. There's not a trunk. It's just the back. The dead wife, Susan, is in the back, and the two kids are in the car seat in the back seat with their mother dead
What a monster.
right behind them.
Mommy and Daddy got out,
He said.
and Mommy never came back. Well, shit.
This episode is brought to you in partnership with Best Fiends. Hey guys, Nicole from Talk Murdered to Me here. As you know, I love puzzles and games, almost as much as I like true crime. When I want to challenge my brain, my go-to game is Best Fiends. It's a game you can play right on your phone without using the internet and your data, which is perfect if my internet ever randomly goes out at home. So Best Fiends is honestly a lifesaver. I love having something to do to actively pass the time, especially right now, and it's so much better than scrolling through social media over and over and over. I've already told you about how much I love this game, and now I've finally hit level 361. It's engaging and a casual game that anyone can play, but it's made for adults. It's colorful, entertaining, and I'm totally obsessed. Jen, John, and I have been trying to get to new levels as fast as we can. Engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. Trust me, with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must-play. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. This episode is brought to you by Relationship Hero. Relationship Hero is a company founded with a mission of helping people successfully overcome their relationship challenges. Relationship Hero matches you with coaches who specialize in areas where you need help, and their coaches provide actionable advice that's personalized to your situation. They are especially great at helping you write the best text to send to your significant other. Their coaches are fantastic, certified, and available 24/7 for ongoing support along your journey. Relationship Hero helps thousands of people every day navigate their dating, relationships, breakups, and more. There's also classes and group coaching to help you navigate the wild world of dating in today's world, like how to spot the red flags of a narcissist, something you may want to brush up on with all your true crime listening. Or get personalized coaching about your relationship and situation with one-on-one consulting. Relationship Hero is the #1 relationship coaching service. Go to relationshiphero.com/murder to not only support Talk Murder to Me, but to get $50 off your first 1-hour coaching session. That's relationshiphero.com/murder.
So 48 hours later, after Susan has gone missing, Josh takes a cab to Salt Lake City International Airport at 10:26 p.m. It is Tuesday, December 8th. He pays $79.61. He's at the Hertz rental agency, and he picks up a 2009 Ford Focus. Over the next 48 hours, he will drive approximately 807 miles. He also got a new cell phone. He also had Susan's cell phone with him at the time. And
Weird.
This is crazy.
Why wouldn't Susan have her cell phone with her?
They found Susan's cell phone in Josh's car. And when he was driving, he was calling her cell phone and saying, "Where are you at, baby? Come back to me." Because, they pinged the cell phones right next to each other in the passenger seat.
My God.
So I'm just, I'm not even bringing up all the stuff that they had against this guy. It's just going to piss you off. Anyway, so Susan Powell was actually in the midst of finally divorcing Josh before she goes missing. She's threatened before to divorce him, and she gave him deadlines. I'm going to divorce you by this date. But those deadlines would always be pushed a year.
Were they conditional? Like, you have to do this or you have to do this?
You have to go to church, which he never does. For instance, one of her friends' husband was a computer programmer, and he didn't want to teach Josh. No one likes Josh at all. No one likes him. No one can stand him. He didn't want to teach Josh how to program on the computer, but talked her friend's husband into teaching Josh how to program on the computer if he would just spend 10 minutes a week with his wife. 10 minutes holding hands, like just being with her.
That's pretty sad that you have to bribe your husband
and
to
he
do
didn't
that.
want to. He did not want to. And
Jeez.
yeah, one of the other conditions was he had to go like once to church, and it happens for a week, and then he decides he's over it. And in fact, not only that, the Mormon Church, they have a supply of food for, I forgot what it's called, but for the Mormon Knights when they're in need. Let's say one of the family members loses a job and they're having trouble eating, they can open up that vault and allow the family to get food that they have stored. The only condition is you have to trade some of your time for the church, mowing the grass,
That's
painting
nice.
the banister, whatever. They took the food, and Susan would always reciprocate like you're supposed to, but Josh never would. He said, "Screw it, I don't want to do that." So it's, that's the type of person this guy is. Anyway, this video you're about to see, I don't believe Josh saw it, but he may have. This was for the attorney. I'm just going to kind of fast forward it, but this is Susan Powell showing all the belongings of the house and everything else. So when they do get divorced, Josh doesn't sell everything under her feet. And as you'll see in the video, Susan, the breadwinner, hardly gets none of her own stuff. She has to beg for groceries. And when we go into the basement, you see Josh's lair. He's got a motorcycle. He's got several computers. He's got all this stuff. And he's not bringing any money into the house because he's getting fired every 2 weeks because he's lying about employment and his skill sets.
This is me. July 29th, 2008. It is 12:33 Mountain Time. Covering all my bases, making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our
crazy,
assets
right?
are documented. Hope everything works out and we're all happy and live happily ever after as much as that's possible. And there is a shop vac. This is all stuff
See, he's
bought
got
in
all
a year
this
or less
stuff.
through Home Depot on my credit. Josh bought a lot of stuff and then he had to bankrupt it. And then he bought a little bit more on my credit. There's a nice lamp.
Those are some serious power tools.
Things to roll wood with.
A little more about Josh. he thinks he knows how to do everything. He wanted to be a photographer, so he bought all this equipment, and that lasted about 2 weeks. He got into real estate. That lasted 2 months. The real estate thing is actually what drove them into bankruptcy because he decided he wanted his face all over the city, and that cost a lot of money. It was like $300,000 through Yellow Pages. Yeah, through Yellow Pages advertising, like Jeff Cook up here with all his signs and stuff. He wanted to do that, but even the agents that have been in 20 years and are making good money, they're hesitant to spend that much money, much less someone who was just got into real estate 2 weeks ago.
No one's going to call somebody with 2 weeks of experience.
Right.
Exactly. And plus, no one can put up with this guy. That campaign, which was about $300,000 or perhaps a lot more, put them into bankruptcy because Yellow Pages tried to sue him because they delivered all his ads, and then he decided to just file for bankruptcy. But before he did that, he bought all he could off his wife's credit cards, and then he files for bankruptcy. So you kind of seeing what this guy is. And she's against that, the lying and the fraud.
I'm sure she would have divorced him a long time ago if it wasn't for the kids.
Exactly. The kids and her religion. Yeah. That is the reason, I'm telling you.
Sorts of files. This is all thanks to me trying to parts. Wedding picture. Hovercraft. Remote it. This is Josh's welding machine.
He's got a welding machine. I don't even have that.
What would you do with that if you had one?
Next, John goes to Home Depot with a credit card.
I get the 10% discount. What you talking about? But what Josh didn't skimp on was the life insurance policies. He had one from Beneficial Life on Susan for $500,000 and another one from New York Life for $2.5 million.
Whoa!
Why would you ever give someone that,
I mean, I do, life insurance is important, but I wouldn't.
$2.5
I
million?
wouldn't have life.
If you die, why would I need $2.5 million? That's not going to get me anywhere. I need 5 or 6 at least.
Sorry, that's far less than what I have. So.
Oh, no.
There was a side to Josh that only his wife could have known. He used sex, or the lack of it, as a weapon.
If I do anything he thinks is wrong, he punishes me. He says, I can't believe you did that. No more sex for 3 months.
Susan told her, since the year before when she'd been pregnant with Charlie, Josh acted as if she repulsed him.
That's sad.
If this sounds like you and your relationship, your significant other does not love you and you need to get out. If they're withholding sex from you.
That's your takeaway.
No? Wait, what? I'm trying to be mature here.
Your only takeaway from that is withholding
did a good job,
sex.
John. You did a good job, but you
they don't
missed
love
a
you.
Big chunk.
Not malnourishing the kids.
Not keeping
accounting for her every dime while spending all of it and bankrupting the family. Withholding sex. That's the last straw.
If this is your significant other, maybe you should try a finger in the butt or something.
Babe.
Okay.
How about marriage counseling?
This is from the writings of Susan Powell right here. This is an email dated July 11th, 2008.
Yesterday I helped him organize/clean his office and the loose papers, another one of his excuse/stalling tactics. And I was soundlessly crying myself to sleep last night. I told him, kind of desperately, now is the time you can say nice things to me. So he said in a tired/bored voice, thanks for helping me clean my office and stuff. And that was all. Then he kind of bumped me, and I said, as a hopeful suggestion, are you trying to hold my hand? And he muttered something not audible, and then a little bit later I held his hand for a while until he pulled away. This is heartbreaking.
I know. That's
Jesus Christ.
And I don't even...
Was he having an affair?
I'll get to that. Okay, not only that, he would, just like Steve, his father, he would put himself against his wife to the kids, almost like a superhero and villain. He would make the kids like him more, kind of like how I do with our dog.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So he would do this with the kids, and this is an exact quote that he had said to his 2 kids.
Do you want to go to boring church with mommy? Or do you want to stay home and have cake with daddy? He asked one time.
So that's
What
the
a
kind of
D-bag.
exactly right.
I mean, obviously the answer is church.
You're the only person at this table that would still choose church.
And we all know how much I love cake, so.
True.
Yeah.
Cake every time.
This is from Steve, little horny Steve, the dad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is what he wrote in his journal.
Josh talked on and on, very openly, about how he would love to get rid of her. He is not attracted to her. He said he daydreams about having someone come to his door to report that she was killed by a drunk driver.
What the fuck?
So this is bizarre because
This
the
is from
son,
his journals.
The son is like supposedly not attracted to his wife and is abusive. Meanwhile, her husband's father
He's trying to
is
swoop
madly in love with her.
Trying to swoop in.
Yes.
But, like, why doesn't he report this? Like, well, I guess because he's a creep and doesn't want to get arrested. But I
very
mean,
true to your point that you made earlier, Jen. You would think that with comments like this, and if he was the husband's father was so in love with her or if obsessed with her, that he would want to like protect her from him. You know, I see that point.
The reason I'm putting these up here, as you'll see in a little bit, because the cops, they for some reason will not arrest this guy.
Josh?
I cannot believe
or
it.
Steve.
Josh, they
What?
arrested Steve because he had child porn and everything, but they will not arrest Josh at all. We're building a case, they kept telling her dad and
That
mom.
is such horseshit.
Yeah, it's really horseshit because, as we'll get into in a second, there was a bunch of evidence that they found. A lot of Susan's blood
Yeah.
they found in the house, and they found the car that she was driven in to
that is
dump her body. All this stuff, and they would
solid.
not arrest this guy at all. They would not arrest him.
Do I need to go up to Utah and cut a bitch?
You're going to want to cut a lot of bitches. I'm going to just go, all right, let's talk a little bit about the Powell family.
I mean, the evidence is unreal.
Let's talk a little bit about the Powell family and Steve's house of horrors. This is one of the youngest sons, Johnny Powell. This is from the book.
His brother?
Yeah,
Josh's brother?
Josh's brother, yeah.
Upstairs in the 30-year-old Johnny Powell's bedroom, a carefully coiled rope noose hung on the wall along with disturbing renderings of a woman with a knife running through her vagina and exiting her stomach. Johnny, whom his father and sister Alina considered an artist, had a history of mental troubles.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, art is art, but that's really troubling.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get that's like
Seek help.
yeah.
Here's another reason why Josh should have maybe not been arrested, but definitely lost custody of the kids a lot sooner than he did. He's talking about his son right here.
He gets 1 meal a day at daycare. That's all he needs. You can give him formula and that's it. You're not wasting my food on him just because he's going to poop it out.
Oh, dear Lord.
Well, everyone poos it out, dude. So I don't understand why you think your child...
Someone needs to poo him out.
Why it's wasting. Like, that's fuel.
All right, detectives also learn that during that same time, like the exact second he rents a car, Steve takes 2 days off work. Not only that, but Michael, one of the other brothers, because remember how I said the Powell family is just a shit family. But anyway, Michael, the other brother, he goes off the radar from December 4th, Friday, till next Saturday, December 12th.
Weird.
Yes.
It wasn't exactly the trip they imagined, but the next day, Friday, December 11th, the police put a tracking device on Josh's car. They followed him as he drove from West Valley City to the parking lot of a strip club in Nevada. The name of the club was American Bush.
American Bush.
That's unfortunate.
Or brilliant.
Why would you go to a strip club with the name Bush?
You can't see anything.
Yeah, but American Landing Strip.
Or American Brazilian. I mean, come on, make it better.
I mean, they don't have to do as much stripping at American Bush.
Yeah, I guess. Well,
Oh my God!
they don't have to worry
They could
about
call
that.
it the Beaver.
That's
Leave
what they.
it-
That's
leave
what
it to
they.
Beaver.
That's what they call the Canadian strip clubs, the Beaver Dam.
Beaver. Beaver.
Two beavers are better than one. It's closed now, but in 2009, it was a storefront in West Wendover, a town of about 4,000, just across the Nevada border from Utah.
West Bendover?
Yeah. There you go.
Less Bendover.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Michael, the brother, he had a Ford Focus as well. I don't know what they were trying to do. If Josh was trying to throw out the police or anything, but his brother Michael had a Ford Focus, and it just so happens that he takes the car to one of those salvage yards so it can be stripped out for parts. Anyway, the detectives with the tracking device actually got his brother's car, and this is the dog right here. Go to talkmore.com to see the sniffer dog doing his job.
Oh, bloodhound. How cute.
He just found the scent of a human body in that car.
Oh, so they transported the body.
They transported the body. So there
Wherever
you go.
they dumped it,
Now,
they realized
as in
the
Michael?
brother.
the brothers, okay? The whole Powell family.
They're all in on
They're
it.
all in
Did
on
they
it.
switch out the car? I'm confused because he got the
So-
same kind of car. So did they switch it out?
So here's what I think happened. So they obviously the body was not in the van, right, when the police are questioning them. But they realized, oh shit, the kids told them where they were. They're onto us. We got to move the body. So they go where they had originally left the body, and they realize they got to move it somewhere else.
Yeah, this is where they took it. Lindell Auto Truck and Parts. Quality used cars and parts for sale. So he basically took it there and was like, hey,
To
you're
sell
not
the
going to
car.
resell it. No, not, well, yeah, to resell, but more like, you're going to part this, right? This is like one of those pull-apart shops where you can just go in and pull off a door if you need it.
The car had been stripped of some parts, including the right front passenger door, taillights, and steering components. They brought in the cadaver dog that intensely searched the back of the vehicle and then indicated a positive hit for the scent of a body. The car was sealed in plastic by police, towed to a holding facility, and later processed by a forensics unit. Mike didn't learn until later that the police had his car.
So even the brothers are involved.
Well, at least one of them.
Now, this is crazy. Josh and Steve, they're not offering any help to find Susan, obviously, because she's dead,
Right,
and they know.
Right. And the police are like,
Yeah.
we don't need your help,
And the
playing
police are-
good cop, bad cop.
And the town is doing all the searches and everything, and Josh is not offering any help.
He's
But-
not even pretending like he's worried about his wife.
Yeah.
Like it's, how even like a Chris Watts, was boo-hooing in front of the news.
Right.
Help me find my wife, whatever.
He made this site, susanpowell.org. Now, it's no longer there, but thanks to the Wayback Machine, which is an internet website archive platform that basically saves everything. It's kind of cool because you can go back and see the first day of Google and the first day of Amazon in 1996, and it looks completely different. Anyway, the site actually archives all of the websites, and this is susanpowell.org from a long time ago. Now, what you'll notice about this website is it talks a lot about how great Josh is. It's almost like a Tinder profile for Josh.
Oh, gosh.
It's crazy.
Single, recently single,
Recently single.
2 kids,
5'9".
And not only that,
likes camping,
Brown
making
eyes.
s'mores.
not only that, the website is a smear campaign for his missing wife, his dead wife, calling her a whore,
No.
all this stuff.
On the website,
On the website.
susanpowell.org.
Oh, yeah. Look at it.
So he is instead of throwing his support for Susan, like, oh, we got to find Susan, he is painting her like she left him and ran away with another man, or she was having an affair and another man must have kidnapped her, or something along those lines.
Exactly. Not only that, he's trying to make himself look good and the Mormon society look bad. This is the website right here. Look, this tab says outsiders. Mormons mobilize. This is
Outsiders.
This is a smear campaign against Mormons. He's
That's
using
weird.
his wife's death site as a Tinder profile and to smear her name and Mormons. SusanPowell.org is a positive and uplifting site to spread the word about Susan and her family in the wake of this tragedy. In spite of Josh's initial willingness to give these people the benefit of the doubt, they have chosen to be completely adversarial towards his family. From the beginning, their numerous statements, is talking about the Mormons and the Cox family, and blogs have attempted to suppress the voice of all those who use reason or who disagree with their personal beliefs. It's just, like, seriously, dude?
He's also talking about it like the site was made not by him.
Leaving Mormonism. It's just ridiculous. Look at this. It has about Josh.
Stephen Powell's powerful connections. Is that what it said?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this is what I want to talk about. There was this guy named Stephen Kosher. He goes missing, and I don't believe he was ever found. But it's around the same area, I think about a year before. So they try to parallel Josh, the one that killed his wife, tries to parallel her running away and this guy missing together. And he's going around on this website saying that they actually were having an affair and they moved together. Now, the family of this poor guy, they're disgusted because their son is being used as a pawn for this psychopath who killed his wife, saying, oh, they probably ran away together because she's a bad mother. She's a whore.
So
they ran away. They're living somewhere and they have a new life.
So Josh is doing his best to come up with alternative theories so that there is he's trying to shed like some sort of reasonable doubt on his own not looking good situation.
I mean, it's looking fine because he's not being arrested or anything.
Yeah,
so
clearly.
it's like, you know.
He ain't doing so bad at it after all, I
Exactly.
guess. Well, John, I guess now you know what you got to do when you kill me.
Josh is a loving father and husband. He likes to take his wife out to dinner or watch movies with her. He regularly does activities with his beautiful wife and his entire family. Josh is totally committed to his wife and children.
Totally.
What the fuck?
I feel like these pictures, too, are also like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
kids, let's pose for a picture for the website.
Josh loves to socialize with his friends and family. He enjoys gardening, woodworking, and building construction projects.
So like digging,
Oh my God,
digging
you're right.
graves and building coffins
yeah.
and
it's a Tinder profile, man.
Wow.
He knows a few songs on the piano and guitar.
like his dad.
He also loves photography, especially when the photos are of Susan and the boys. He enjoys
Then like why aren't any of the good pictures of her?
he enjoys problem solving. You know, how do I dump this body?
His dad probably had to provide all the photos of her.
Yeah.
Josh would like you to include his family and friends in his prayers. Oh my God, this is awful. This is Steve talking about the missing Stephen Kosher in his journal.
I'm not really sure what position to take when she comes back. Will she return and own up to her affair with Stephen Kosher? Will she want to stay with him? Or will she realize it was just a fling? She needed to bring hope to what must have become for her a meaningless life. I still fantasize and masturbate about her nearly every day.
Ugh, gross. Oh my gosh.
What the
I mean,
That went from like a like
It's like
a not so bad journal entry to one that was like,
it's like 0 to fucking 100.
oh my gosh. Like he realizes that she's probably not alive and he's fantasizing about a dead woman, correct? Like
Jesus Christ.
And
so
he
is he
probably
actually buying into this theory, I guess?
All right. Now, what? How does this end?
Well, hang on. So is
Okay,
the husband having an affair?
I'm sure he is.
Because I think it's weird that he says that he is like withholding sex as punishment.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is, yeah. I mean, he's definitely going to the American beaver.
It's
American
the
Bush.
American bush. It's the
Bush.
Canadian beaver. But the American bush.
The beaver. Oh, all right. Let's talk about this douchehead. This is Dr. James Manley.
After interviewing Mr. Powell and observing him interact with two sons, there is nothing to suggest that Mr. Powell does not have the intellect, skill, or practice to safely and adequately parent his two sons.
That was from a psychological evaluation by Dr. James Manley, December 9th, 2011. Here's where we're at now, 2 years down the road. Josh is fighting over custody of his two sons. The Coxes currently have the sons. They've literally just got them.
Because we find out that Steve is possibly molesting them and is arrested for child porn. So they're out of the custody at that point. And Josh is fighting back.
Not just Steve. That's a good point. The report goes to say, quote, "In my experience, Josh is a loving and very engaged father." He must have read that off SusanPowell.org. "In the care of his sons. And Charlie and Braden are happy, well-adjusted, and vibrant children. They were malnourished.
Yeah.
They were malnourished at the time. And this guy, even though they missed their mother." Quote, Dr. Manley's report indicated that Josh had excellent parenting and interpersonal skills. Although he needed to learn to consistently place his children's needs for an emotionally safe and stable environment ahead of his own.
That pretty much that sentence contradicts itself. But I would just like to say that from the literally 2 minutes that we watched of the police interrogation, I can tell you that he has terrible interpersonal skills.
Where we're at now is Josh thinks he has the right to see his sons, and they were ripped away from him.
Boo-hoo.
And he is trying to get them back, at least do some sort of supervised visits. However, they found that the kids had STDs from Steve. Mm-hmm. They found a shit ton of weird and creepy shit in his father's house where the kids would spend. And not only that, Josh has his own collection too. You won't see this on SusanPowell.org.
Was that what was in the locked file cabinet, probably?
Oh, maybe. James Manley sat in a room at the Pierce County Sheriff's Office in downtown Tacoma. The psychologist, a sexual deviancy expert, and Detective Gary Sanders looked down at a few dozen of the 400 images that the Utah police had found on Josh's computer in December of 2009. The pornographic images played out like a kind of twisted, disgusting version of Cartoon Network. Well-known cartoon characters from The Simpsons to The Flintstones to Superman to Dennis the Menace were depicted in a wide array of sexual activities, including incest, group sex, fellatio, cunnilingus, and sodomy.
I'm never going to look at Family Guy the same.
Oh my God.
It was a subset.
They weren't mentioned in this paragraph.
Not yet.
It was a subset of child pornography, the likes of which are rarely seen by law enforcement, much less the parents who let their kids watch cartoons. Captain America, Catwoman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Rugrats, characters from Family Guy, and Jungle Book, and SpongeBob SquarePants, every one of them doing the nastiest things imaginable. Some were hand-drawn, others were computerized, anime, or photographs. Some had identifying logos indicating where the cartoons and 3D images had originated. Websites trumpeted exactly what they were. Toon porn.
So he's into hentai, but
not
the
just
American
hentai.
version.
The images that they found were of child pornography. A lot of cartoon child pornography. On Josh's computer.
Right. So they need
in 2009.
Let me go back for a second. After interviewing Mr. Powell and observing him interact with his two sons, there is nothing to suggest that Mr. Powell does not have yada, yada, yada. This dude has fucking child toon porn on his fucking computer. Are you... So what Why is this a question?
I'm not asking a question.
This not.
Well, toon porn's not child pornography, but it does show tendencies of instability for sure.
Well, I mean, it depends though. I guess it would depend.
It is
if
still
the
child pornography
because some of the characters are children.
It is still child pornography,
and also it's like children's characters.
I can see if it's children in the cartoon.
Rugrats is an example.
Right.
Like
Rugrats. That is child porn.
That's child porn.
And not only that, why would you grant this dude any contact with his sons when he has fucking porn of Rugrats performing cunnilingus on each other? Are you fucking serious?
I'm gonna vomit.
What the fuck? There's a 4-year and a 2-year-old, and their dad is watching Rugrat porn, and you think this guy, Dr. Manley, this guy, he just needs to work on some shit. Fuck this guy.
Understatement.
Fuck that
Oh,
goddamn
no.
doctor. Fuck this doctor.
One had the head of Harry Potter actress Emma Watson photoshopped on a nude figure. And she's young in that. In 2009,
She's probably like
even
17, maybe 18. She's like our age because she graduated the same year she went to Brown. She's the same age as us.
Can Jen read the last sentence after you finish?
How about Jen just reads the whole thing?
All right, go ahead, Jen.
I want to just start over. One had the head of Harry Potter actress Emma Watson photoshopped onto a nude figure. Some drawings showed bondage. Some showed beasts having sex with a woman.
Sorry.
Is that your sex noise? Oh, I don't know why I asked that. Sorry. Others depicted sex involved. You guys know my history with cats. Like, others depicted sex involving mother on son, mother on daughter, father on daughter. In one, there were 2 adults on a bed praising a girl who was filleting a boy. In another, a girl was filleting a penis with a caption that read, "Come on, daddy, come on, let me finish what I started. You're going to like it." Oh my God, I want to vomit.
Can you read that again, but more...
Nope.
No.
Nope,
I
that was
refuse.
enough.
That's it.
Come on, daddy. Oh, fuck. Okay. Let's wrap this up. Why the fuck do I care about any of this shit?
Please tell me he's still not walking around free.
Reporting. Hey, I'm on a supervised visitation for a court-ordered visit, and something really weird has happened. The kids went into the house, and the parent, the biological parent, whose name is Josh Powell, will not let me in the door.
Okay, let me give you some context before we go any further. This is February 5th, 2012. Josh was granted supervised visits with his children. I believe it was an hour a week. Mm-hmm. Under the care of, I don't know how this works, DSS,
like a
social worker or someone comes and then watches Josh play with the kids, whatever. This is February 5th, 2012. The 2 kids were slightly in front of the woman on the 911 call right now. And as they walk in, Josh slams the door behind the 2 kids and locks out the social worker.
What should I do?
What's the address?
It's 8119, and I think it's 89th. I don't know what the address is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty important for me to know.
Sorry, I can't. Just a minute. Let me get in my car and see if I can find it. Nothing like this has ever happened before at these visitations, so I'm really shocked. And I could hear one of the kids crying, but he still wouldn't let me in. He helped right away. He's on a very short lease with DSHS, and CPS has been involved. And this is the craziest thing. He looked right at me and closed the door. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just waiting to know where you are.
Okay. It's 8119 189th Street, Court East, Puyallup, 98375. And I'd like to pull out of the driveway because I smell gasoline and he won't let me in.
You want to pull out of the driveway because you smell gasoline, but he won't let you...
He won't let me in.
Tell me this motherfucker killed his kids. I swear to God.
He won't let me in the house. And the kids have been in there by now approximately 10 minutes. And he knows this is a supervised visit. 2. Braden is 5 and Charlie is 7.
All right, we'll have somebody look for you there.
Okay, how long will it be?
I don't know, ma'am. They have to respond to emergency, life-threatening situations first. The first available deputy
Well,
is responding.
this could be life-threatening. He went to court on Wednesday, and he didn't get his kids back. And this is really, I'm afraid for their lives.
Okay, has he threatened the lives of the children previously?
I have no idea.
All right. We'll have the first available deputy contact you.
Oh.
Hello?
Hi, ma'am. Were you calling about the fire in the 8200 block of
Yes,
188th
he
Street,
exploded the house.
Ma'am, do you know the okay? Do you know the exact address of the house? Or
That's his house.
Oh, that motherfucker! I gotta go out there and cut a bitch.
Court East,
okay.
2 hours.
Okay, stand line. Do you know if anyone's in the house?
Yes, there was a man and 2 children. I just dropped off the children, and he wouldn't let me in the door.
Okay, stand line for the fire department. Okay, I'm going to get them on the line. Do not hang up. Hold on.
Blew up the house. The kids in it. He sends this email to his custody attorney, Jeffrey Bassett,
there's not somebody here, but I
right
was
before
just
the fire.
there, and there is somebody
I'm
here.
sorry,
There's 2
goodbye.
little boys in the house, and they're 5 and 7, and there's an adult man. He has supervised visitation, and he blew up the house and the kids. The kids and the husband and the father were in the house? Yes, he slammed the door in my face. So I kept knocking. I thought it was a mistake. I kept knocking, and then I called
He kills
911.
himself and the kids.
So this is, how long is it when she makes the first call to when the house explodes? Do
it's
you know?
right. She smells gasoline.
Yeah, I remember
It's
that.
like within
as
minutes.
Soon as she
Yeah,
said
and then
that,
it blows, and then she calls back.
Once the explosion
Yeah.
happens.
as soon as she said gasoline, that's when he should have dispatched right then. Shit.
Here you go.
Debris was removed from Charlie's body using a hand trowel and broom. He was photographed and turned over. The exposed part of his body was red, burned, and blistered. A lot of his skin had burned away, and his left arm was mostly gone. The back of his skull cap was missing.
Oh, God.
They placed Charlie in a white cloth, and then the sheriff's deputy tenderly lifted Charlie into his arms and carried him outside. When investigators returned to the room, they found a hatchet bent by heat and 2 knives on top of the mattress where Charlie had been. They were photographed and packed as evidence.
So he killed them before he blew them up.
No, he didn't. He just bashed them in the head. They actually died of smoke inhalation with their heads bashed in, if you want to read this.
Braden was face down with a lot of debris from the fire covering him. They removed debris from his body and took photographs. As they were turning him over, they saw chop marks on the back of his neck. Like Charlie, Braden was missing part of his skull. Braden, too, was also placed in a white cloth and gently carried outside in the arms of the deputy. The boys were still alive when the fire began because soot was found in their lungs and esophagi. After striking the boys with the hatchet and laying them side by side on the mattress, Josh poured the mixture of gas and ethanol on them. Since they were still breathing, some went down their throats.
And Jen, you can read this. This is from Susan Powell. This is from her journal.
I love my boys. I live for them. Susan Powell, handwritten last will and testament, June 28th, 2008.
So that's the story.
Well, that is an ending that should not have fucking happened.
Well, I also have pictures of the kids here. If you guys want to see. Yeah, this story is... I told you it would not piss you off.
Yeah.
The whole thing about the custody. Why do you think I kept going into it? You know? These are the kids.
Oh, my God. They're so sweet. Oh, my gosh.
So, follow-up questions. Did anything happen to the brothers who were possibly involved in the body? Like, did any justice get served at all?
Literally no justice. The only
Did
justice...
the fucking police and the dispatchers get fired for their incompetence?
I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, Steve
I was hoping
in
that there'd be some sort of, like, the brother who helped... Did they find the body? Did they find...
They never found the body, no.
Has Steve spoken out after?
Well, Steve is dead.
Oh,
did someone cut him?
No, but I wish.
Oh, I missed my opportunity.
He actually died pretty recently.
It seems like there's still a brother that you could go and...
Michael, the one with the body in his car, the police questioned him several times.
Shannon can go do it. She's up in Puyallup.
They said that he was the accomplice of Susan, but nothing happened.
I am so angry.
There's nothing worse than a story where kids get killed, especially like this.
Stephen Powell was released from prison on July 11th, 2017, after serving a total of 7 years for voyeurism and child pornography convictions.
What?
He dies of natural causes in Tacoma, Washington, July 23rd, 2018. So that is the case.
You know what the worst part is?
There is zero justice in anything here.
Well, the worst part is that
the Cox family did sue
the police.
The police, yeah.
Good.
In March 2015, Chuck Cox won a protracted court battle with Teresa and Alina Powell over control of Susan's estate, which, probably wasn't much.
I can't even believe that was a question.
I mean, dude, the visitation rights.
I can't believe it.
This needs to be some sort of new law. Okay, if the dad is caught with fucking Rugrat porn on his computer, he doesn't get any visitation rights.
Murder case.
Not just father, anyone,
dude.
legal guardian, anyone.
If the kids are malnourished, if the fucking father, there was blood in the fucking house, and the police never even released that. They were still, quote, building their case. I'm jerking off my wiener. Hopefully he'll admit it for some fucking reason. Are you fucking high? You let this guy get away with murder. Not only that, he killed his fucking 2 kids because of your fucking incompetence. You, the psychologist, Dr. Manley. Oh, he's all right. He just needs to adjust some stuff. He's fine. Oh, don't worry about that Rugrat porn. It's all right. He'll get over it. He just likes to jerk off the little kids. Yeah, you can bring these little kids with him. It's fine.
I mean, there's so
Fuck
many
this
people.
Guy. There's so many. Yeah, it's just it's
fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, Susan warned of all of this.
Yeah.
He murdered his wife and his children.
They actually found his body close to the back door. They think he was trying to escape.
He probably fucking was, that fucking cunt face. Oh my gosh.
Oh, shit.
You are mad.
I don't know where that came from.
I'm also mad, so it's okay.
Wow. Apologies.
Thanks a lot, Stacy, for your story. No more requests.
We've hit a new low. No, I'm just kidding.
No more requests. I'm done. Back to mutilator. Back to Japanese torture and mutilations.
I mean, just the lack of justice. I hope I don't know if the suing of the police department has yielded anything yet, but I mean, that's just terrible.
No, it's nothing, dude. Nothing's came of this. They need to at least fucking work out the visitation laws. This guy had fucking Rugrat and Family Guy porn. Dude, I don't give a shit if it's child molestation or not. I wouldn't want any kid hanging out with a father that has fucking Family Guy and Beast porn. What the fuck? How is that a question? What kind of sexual psychologist is this guy? Dr. Manley. He needs to be fucking manhandled. Mm-hmm. He needs to fucking lose his goddamn license.
Yeah.
There's your story.
Good riddance.
I'm really upset.
That was...
What did you think it was going to happen?
I didn't think that was going to happen.
He's a family annihilator. That's what happens. The kids were suffering from hatchet wounds to their skull. Both of them had parts of their skull missing. And they were still alive because there was soot in their esophagus, which means they died of breathing in smoke after being chopped in the head with a hatchet. And then Josh tries to run out.
The only good thing about this case is that Josh died.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't even suffer as painful of death as his kids.
Yeah,
or probably his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if you have a shitty boyfriend or husband, you should fucking leave him.
And if you don't, be glad that you're single sometimes.
So that was a request from our Taco Supremo and good friend Stacy. Thank you so much for that lovely and very depressing story.
Thanks for that, Stacy.
If you would like to request your own story for me to do, go to talkmurder.com, hit the support tab, pay me $47, and I'll send you a t-shirt and some stuff, and I'll cover your story. It's a one-time fee. We don't do any recurring charges or anything like that. So once you're in the cult, you're in for life. I guess I'll remove the word comedy from our genre. All right. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button on whatever podcasting app you use. If you like the story, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're absolutely obsessed with this podcast and want to become our Mormon, go to talkmurder.com/join. Become a Talko Supremo. Get a badass t-shirt, sticker, swag, a lot of love. Shout it out all over the place. Tell me what story you want me to do. I'll research it and dedicate it to you right here on the Talk Murder to Me podcast. My name is John, here with Jen and Nicole. And until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.